Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever in the world you may be. This will just be a short video on the fire of Notre Dame Cathedral and why people are reacting so callously towards it. So yes, I felt I'd just get my beak in on all the thoughts and opinions surrounding this that strike out at me of interest. Now, the fire was thought to be started in one of the attics by electrics used by the restoration workers. Quite ironic, really, you might say. There was a strict limit on how the electrics were used due to the age of the timber, and the company carrying out the works had said all procedures were followed, and there were no workmen on the site at the time of the fire, fortunately. Now, the fire started on 15th of April at around 7 in the evening and was finally doused the following day. The fire took a while to tackle, since too much water pressure would have destroyed more of the building, and the stone surrounding would all crack if it was immediately cooled. The cathedral's 300-foot spire was engulfed in the flames and collapsed inwards, which took with it most of the timber roof and the heavy lead sheets used as weather protection. Luckily, the 12 apostles that sat on the spire were removed for repairs, and many other artifacts were removed and kept safe, but naturally there were some severe damages, of course. The exact list mentioning all and every area of damage has not yet even been completed, never mind released.
Well, where is it?
Now, I'm not a religious person myself, but I think we all must have a depth of respect to buildings that have withstood the test of time. The cathedral is over 850 years old. It has been extensively maintained and cleaned to aid its survival up to this tragic incident. So of course you can trust modern technology to be its downfall, can't you? As well as the incompetent minds behind the cause, you might say. The cathedral is a religious and artistic marvel, an iconic image to the French people. This is why it seems upsetting, really, that President Emmanuel Macron hasn't announced any state funding to repair the cathedral. Many French taxpayers would want their money to go to the cause to help the rebuild. Instead, a private charity company has started a fundraiser which is dedicated to protecting French cultural and national heritage. There has been some further controversy surrounding the people who are donating to the cause as well. Within 12 hours of the fire ending, over 700 million had already been pledged to help rebuild the cathedral. This had all mainly come from French billionaires, millionaires, and other donors here in the UK, say USA and Hungary, just to name some anyway. Leading the way are the CEOs of brands like Christian Dior and L'Oreal, because I'm worth it, who have announced donations of 200 million euros each.
Bob been saving for a long time. Bob saved money, Bob finds and washer dryer, clothes and mattresses inside wallets.
This has received some backlash, though, as these companies are being accused of using a tragedy as a publicity stunt to show how charitable they are, by them being boastful, basically, regarding their wealth, and doing it simply for advertisement throughout international papers.
Hubba, 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 money, 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 who do you trust? Me? I'm giving away free money. And where is the Batman? He's at home, washing his tights.
This is in addition to French law, which states all donated monies will receive around 60% tax relief to the benefit of the donor. So obviously these super rich companies need a tax relief to have even more money. It makes sense, doesn't it? Then there are celebrities. Yes, the never-ending swarm of bloody celebrities, having to constantly throw themselves at anything and everything until they make it more about themselves than tackling the original issue at hand. USMagazine.com and Fox News made a special point of how Hollywood are reacting to the incident. Now, James Woods took it like a knife to the heart, being a Roman Catholic. Oh, I do hope he's coping, bless him.
Dear Lord, the most merciful, almighty. Those enchiladas.
Now, Ellie Goulding said she is praying, which she doesn't often do. Yes, because if there was a God, I'm sure he'd pencil you in somewhere on his to-do list. Let's hope that in today's day and age, God moves with the times. If that were the case, then no doubt God would have bright blue-dyed hair, a nice pair of thick-framed glasses, and quite possibly a vagina. Yes. At least then Ellie Goulding could have a use, quite possibly as God's reusable tampon.
You bought me a present.
Now Josh Gad said how he isn't ready to lose this treasure. Not quite sure when he will be ready, but either way, no doubt Josh Gad is of course now an expert on everything French after playing a part in the whirlwind of utter shittery that was 2017's Beauty and the Beast. And then there is Maisie Williams, who made a point of how she is interrupting her birthday to watch Notre Dame on the news. Well, I'm sure it wasn't just her birthday on April the 15th, but there we go. I suppose we should all applaud her, actually, that she managed to no doubt drag herself away from any and every reflective surface of some sort to take notice of other matters happening in and around the world. And on her birthday of all days. Notice how the celebrities have to make a point of me, and how it affects me, and how my heart goes out to the French. Seriously, I could just sit at home on my fat bloody arse and say that. No one is going to make a news story of it. But no. Everything that happens around these people has to somehow be a reflection of themselves, because they are so damn self-absorbed.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty, I feel pretty and witty and bright.
Now to finish on, here in the UK we had a little incident called Grenfell Tower. If you haven't heard of Grenfell Tower, then contact a witch doctor to immediately summon Kathy Bates to perform an hour-long session of hobbling upon your weary ankles.
Hey, please!
Because no doubt there are other life forms in other galaxies who have been subject to the never-ending broadcast of bloody Grenfell Tower. So do any of you remember? Well, how can we forget? As I say, they still go on about it now. They keep saying we should have done more. Don't know how.
No.
Well, there was a stir on Indy100.com stating the bells of Westminster Abbey will ring to mark 24 hours since the fire began at Notre Dame. Greg Evans, making the report, states how the victims of Grenfell Tower didn't get the same level of respect. They didn't get chimes. Well, no, they didn't. But they did get government compensation, as well as charity donations raised by the public, the British public, the really horrible, racist, horrible British public. Yes. And the victims were all put up in taxpayer-funded hotels until they were rehoused. Not only that, but let's just have some honesty and say it like it is. Grenfell Tower was just a tower block that for the most part was overflowing with benefit-claiming migrants, just to name some. Now, regardless of how the endless news coverage isn't going to put it to you like this, I'm sorry, there are avenues where this information is ready and reliably available. Of course you have to go looking for that though, it's not just thrown into your lap. Okay, I'm not speaking for everyone, and I'm not condoning what happened in any light. Now, there were numerous reports on this. The Notre Dame Cathedral has stood for over 800 years, as said. that's older than some countries. How can people compare a 20th century tower block to a medieval work of art? And before everyone starts going on about how lives were lost regarding Grenfell Tower, yes, it was, as I said, a tragedy, but the clocks aren't going to go backwards, unfortunately. And despite the shit that's going to no doubt be poured into my ears until it's dribbling down the sides of my face for saying this, there have been much worse tragedies that haven't even had the time of day in regards to coverage. So yes, I just wanted to get that out there, okay? It's just a question of priorities.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
Well, anyway, like I said, this went to be a short video. I just wanted to put my stance on how celebrities and businesses can and often do take advantage of such tragedies such as this. Of course, there will be those out there that have genuinely good intentions. I'm not saying that there aren't, but I imagine they are few and far between. And if nothing else, I'm sure Amazon Kindle isn't complaining now. More people are buying Victor Hugo's classic novel. And I'm sure Disney is laughing at the sales increase of the animated adaptation of the book.
I had a little trouble with the fireplace.
Yes, and it just surprises me how people disregard the value of history in a flash when you compare such incidents as this to that of Grenfell Tower. I mean, yes, as I said, for those involved, 72 people, I believe it was, died. And yes, it must be very hard for the families of those who died, I couldn't imagine, but both situations aren't exactly comparable just because they both involved a fire. Anyway, I'm not going to really go on about it. I have a tendency to take matters that are sensitive and to sometimes become a little bit insensitive, with no regrets. I think sometimes people need to hear it that way. Anyway, with that being said, I will of course take my leave. Now, if this video has offended you in any way, then please feel free to leave a comment for me to ignore in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thanks more so to those who subscribe. And until the next time, from wherever in the world you may be, have a very good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and of course, as always, a very good night to you all.